Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of solving quadratic equations. This is standard A.8A in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 38 of the Redesign Practice Online STAAR Test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we're looking for the solutions to this equation, but it's not a regular quadratic here. So let's open up our graph draw feature. One thing that hopefully we will notice is that they actually give this to us in what we call factored form. So factored form looks like this. Very similar to what we have. It's x minus u, that's one binomial, and then x minus v. And what we can say here is that our u and our v are both going to be your zeros or your solutions. So if you can get something to look like this, it's really easy to kind of pick up the solutions from here. Now, it's x minus u. So in order to get a positive 13, you're actually going to need a negative 13 as your u. In order to get a negative 6, that's pretty easy. That's a positive 6. This is why. So if we do x plus 13 and x minus 6, right? What we do is we just set both of these to 0. So x plus 13 equals 0. We solve for x, subtract 13 from both sides. X equals negative 13. So that's where this negative 13 comes from. Then we do the same thing with this x minus 6 equals 0, because in order for this to equal 0, right, one or both of those factors would need to equal 0. So that's why we set it to 0. And then we just add 6 to both sides. And that's going to be x equals negative 6. So it looks like it's pretty straightforward. And let me just show you, it's not going to be negative 6, right? It's going to be positive 6, excuse me. So I got negative 13 and a positive 6. So it's looking like B looks pretty good. Let's double check, right? So what we would need to do is we would actually need to go ahead and multiply this out. So that we'd FOIL this out, right? So this would be x squared minus 6x plus 13x minus whatever in the world 13 times 6 is. So 13 times 6, that's 78, minus 78. So now we get x squared plus 7x minus 78 equals 0, right? And then we can do our quadratic formula. So that's our a equals 1, b equals 7, c equals negative 78. And we would say negative b, right, or negative 7 plus or minus square root of 7 squared minus 4 times a is 1 times my negative 78. So it's going to end up being a positive over 2a, or 2 times 1. So negative 7 plus or minus 7 squared is 49, and that's going to end up being a plus, right? And then 4 times 78, 312 over 2. So negative 7 plus or minus 312 plus 49, that makes 361 over 2, and square root of 361 makes 19. So negative 7 plus or minus 19 over 2, right? So if we said negative 7 plus 19 over 2, and then we could say negative 7 minus 19 over 2. And obviously we're going to get the same answer. So I wanted to show you that you still multiply it out and find the quadratic. So that would be negative 7 plus 19. That's going to be a 12 over 2. So that makes 6. Negative 7 minus 19. That's going to be a negative 26 over 2. That makes your negative 13. All right, so any way you do it, whether you just use this factored form, right, you immediately see the u and the v, or whether you solve for x by setting each of those factors to 0, either way your answer here is going to be that B.